Have you ever heard the term, they don't make them like they used to? We hear that term a lot, kind of thrown around, especially as it comes to sort of what you would think of as durable goods, made in America, stuff like that. And we especially hear it thrown around in the case of firearms. And so today, what I'm going to attempt to do is demonstrate through these two guns that that's not always necessarily the case. Sometimes they don't make them like they used to, but they make them better than they used to. So both these guns are clear, but we'll do it on camera just to be sure. We'll go ahead and remove the magazines as well. And so what we've actually got here today are two Colt Mustangs. This one is a Colt Mustang, just Colt Mustang, made in 1987. See if we can get a close-up on the roll marks there. Colts Mark IV, Series 80, you know. That's just a standard Mustang, made in 1987. What we have here is a newer manufacturer, Mustang Pocket Light. It's not in Colt's serial number search, but it's within the last few years, because as you can see, it's got the barcode right there, the dot matrix code or whatever. And this is actually a Mustang Pocket Light, which means an alloy frame. As you can see, one's stainless, obviously, one's blue, but overall, these are two very similar guns. And they've also got two very similar magazines. Here's the magazine that came with the blue one. 380, I believe it's a 6-round magazine. Stainless one with the newer gun. Not a lot to talk about there. We're not here to talk about the magazines. We're just going to kind of look at some of the differences in these two guns. So we'll start off with this older one. You know, this is an old Colt. I mean, you can make an argument that maybe the 80s wasn't when Colt's quality was the best. But you know, if you had a Colt Python from 1987 and someone was comparing it to a brand new Python, they'd say, oh, well, the old, they just don't make them like they used to, blah, blah, blah. And that's true for some guns like the Python. They don't make them like that. The old Python is an entirely different design than the new Python. But let's just look at the quality of this 1980s Colt Mustang. So the first thing that I'm going to point out, we're going to cock the hammer to kind of take some tension off the slide. Let's look at our slide to frame fitment. How are we doing on side to side? That's an awful lot of wobble, isn't it? What about back and forth? It's not as bad. Still a lot of wobble though. You know, this is just a loose gun. There's our sights. It's still a nice gun, but it's just not made to as tight of tolerances as the next gun we're going to look at, which is that Mustang Pocket Light. Let's check its slide to frame fit. I mean, there is almost no movement. How about forwards and backwards? Nothing. Zero. Now I can say, having shot both of these guns, this one's more accurate. I would imagine that the rifling in the barrel is more precise than the old one. This is by far a much higher quality gun than this one. This one, plastic trigger, cast frame. You can see the casting line there on the inside of the trigger guard. And then on the new one, it's a metal trigger. I believe it's aluminum. It's not plastic though. No casting lines anywhere on this frame. This frame is beautifully finished. I do believe that these have forged frames. Now, does that mean that this older Mustang is a bad gun? No. This is a nice gun. This one's got some things I like better about it even. But as far as they don't make them like they used to, this newer example is built much better than this old one. I mean, just in every way. It's tighter and crisper in every possible way. So I just thought I'd kind of make this little video to show that no, they don't always make them like they used to. Sometimes they make them better than they used to.